When you think of the best receiver in this year's draft, who do you think of? Many of you might think of Ohio State's Jackson Smith-Njigba, USC's Jordan Addison, and some of you may think it's TCU's Quentin Johnston. And certainly, all three of those guys will be drafted in the first round and make an impact for whatever team picks them. But if you ask me who the best receiver of this draft is, I would tell you that it's Zay Flowers out of Boston College. A majority of you might scoff at that, but this video is going to be me explaining why I think this. I would argue that Flowers is the most versatile and complete receiver in this draft. He can line up in the slot and on the outside, has the speed to be a deep threat and the agility to make an impact on short and intermediate routes, and has a dynamic ability to gain yards after the catch and make plays in space very effectively. This season, he earned a second first-team All-ACC selection after recording 1,077 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns, and recorded 1,117 scrimmage yards in total. He did this while Boston College cycled through two quarterbacks in Phil Jurkovich and Emmett Morehead as well, neither of which were that great. He's dynamic, dangerous, and has the potential to be an absolute stud in the NFL. And in this video, I'm going to look at three main things which make Flowers my wide receiver 1 in this draft. Let's first start with his deep ball ability. Flowers has the speed and route running savvy to be a dangerous vertical threat, as he exhibited many times this past season with Boston College. Let's start out with this play against Notre Dame. He's lined up on the outside in a stack alignment and finds himself against man coverage. Here, there's no fancy footwork or crazy agility. Flowers simply just uses his speed to get by his defender before tracking the ball well over his shoulder to make the catch. He definitely can use some sharp footwork to beat defenders, but sometimes for Flowers, his speed is all he needs to get the job done. Here's a 9 route against Virginia Tech where he actually does use his footwork to make something happen. His defender is playing about 9 yards off here in man coverage, so Flowers knows he'll need to make something happen towards the top of the route. He does just that by running a stop and go. He stops his movement, sinks his hips to get the defender to flip his hips before quickly bursting upfield once more. He's got about 3 to 4 yards of separation because of it, and ends up gaining a ton of yards on this play. The sudden and quick movements are what really stand out here, and the way he stopped his route and exploded out of his break so fast is extremely impressive. It's one of many reasons why I'm so high on Flowers heading into this draft. Here's the first of a few corner post routes from Flowers I want to show you because they're some of my favorite plays he made from this past season. Against Wake Forest, he's up against a corner playing man coverage with outside leverage and wisely attacks his outside hip to get him turned around before breaking back upfield. It results in Flowers gaining a ridiculous amount of separation before making the catch. Then, he shows off his ability to make things happen after the catch, making a defender miss before beating out another to the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. This one comes from Flowers in the slot, where he lined up on 36% of his snaps for Boston College this past season. He gets past this linebacker before going one-on-one with the safety over the top, and again does a great job of stemming outward to act like he's running a 7 route before breaking back inside to run an 8 route. The safety is essentially nowhere to be seen after the break, and he's wide open by about 5 to 7 yards once the throw is made. Then, his speed takes care of the rest for a touchdown. But my favorite deep catch from Flowers has to be this one he had against Louisville. Here, he's got 2 defenders running with him, with the cornerback bracketing him on the outside and a safety over the top playing inside leverage. He first does a great job of getting the cornerback out of the way with a great stem as he fakes another 7 route before running another 8 route. On the 8 route, he gets over the top of the safety, makes a fantastic catch over him, and manages to stay on his feet to score the touchdown. This was absolutely his best play of the season and one that defines Flowers more than any other. Here on the tight angle, you can really see just how far out he gets his cornerback before running his post route. On the surface, this may look like a throw into double coverage, but it's really one-on-one. Flowers did such a good job of gaining separation from the quarter that he's basically a spectator on this play like you and me. Just fantastic work from a fantastic receiver. Next, I want to get into his route tree. Specifically, I want to get into how diverse it can be because he can run anything you ask him to. In addition to his deep ball prowess, he can run short and intermediate routes just as well. Whatever he's running, he's able to excel at it by using his agility, route running, speed, and his physicality, with the latter being especially impressive considering he comes in at 5'9" and 172 pounds. We could start with this play where Flowers runs a nice in route around this linebacker here. He first makes this cut back towards the outside to get his hips turned before using his speed to get around him as the linebacker turns to cover the route upfield. He also cleverly uses the referee to create a little bit of a pick here so the linebacker has to adjust and not run into him, and he's able to make the catch and make a solid play. Here's a play where Flowers is running a long 4 route, but he has to go into scramble drill when his quarterback is forced to improvise. It's a really nice job of Flowers to stay active and mobile during this, and eventually make a nice quick cut to turn around, find open space to help his QB, and make the catch to make the play a positive one. He's got a knack for finding those kind of open spaces. On this play, Flowers doesn't get the ball, but he still runs a pretty good route. He's running a 3 route against man coverage, and Flowers puts in a little star step to keep the defender on his toes. He's able to get a good amount of separation when he breaks into the comeback before realizing the ball isn't coming his way. Still a good route though. Flowers doesn't get the ball on this play either, but man, it would have been nice if he did, because his defender was toast as he broke out into this slant. The route could have been a little better, but it's still able to beat the cornerback, and boy did he beat him good. The throw is off because the QB is hit as he throws it, but if this was on the line, Flowers is likely gone. There is nobody between him and the end zone once he beats the corner, and I'm willing to bet his speed would have left the safety chasing him in the rearview mirror. A really good release here from Flowers, and a big what-if moment. This is a really nice slant from Flowers, which seems like nothing special on the surface, until you see how he's able to fight for extra yardage after the catch. It's a small and less visible part of his game, but it's still a notable one, and Flowers does a really nice job of fighting through defenders to extend the play. I really like this touchdown he had against NC State. It's a great route where he comes vertical in front of the hook defender and the lone safety up top to keep them both in place before breaking inside and accelerating out of his cut to get himself open and make a great catch. We can look at the tight angle as well. On it, you'll see how well he's able to stem his route to manipulate the defenders into thinking he's going to run something else before quickly making his cut. Really good play from Flowers here. And lastly, we got this touchdown he had against Duke off a jet motion. Boston College used Flowers a lot on these jet motions to utilize his speed and agility, and it pays off here. This defender is playing man coverage against him, and the footwork and quickness Flowers displays here are really good. Flowers makes 2 cuts on this jet motion to get the defender leaning left before he quickly takes off to the right, and he's able to gain so much separation that the play is practically a touchdown once the ball is snapped. Several NFL teams have ways they can scheme up these kind of motions for receivers like Flowers, and these kind of plays are extremely difficult to defend. So basically, look for Flowers to run a lot of jet motions during his rookie season. Finally, I want to get into Flowers' yak ability and the ways he's able to make great plays in space. That, combined with the 2 previous things we just looked at, make him the most versatile and complete receiver in this entire draft. His skill set is just more well-rounded than other receivers, and it's on display on these plays. To start off, we'll look at this play against Clemson where Flowers receives a drag route before making a man miss to create extra yards. I love just how elusive he is on this play and how quickly he's able to shift from making the catch to putting a move on the defender. The way he slips around this guy is pretty impressive as well, and it looks much better on the tight angle here. Here, Flowers comes across the field to get himself open and make the catch, and afterward is able to slip past 3 Louisville defenders with some excellent agility before being brought down. You can see it a bit better on the tight angle here, especially how quick his feet are when trying to get past these defenders. Sure, it may not have resulted in many yards, but the fact he managed to make 3 defenders miss their tackles on one play is pretty impressive. It's the way he's able to stop his momentum to send defenders the wrong way that especially stands out, in addition to the fact that he can turn on the juice just as easily as he can stop it. On this play, Flowers runs a speed out and manages to create extra yards off this quick move he makes on the cornerback. The corner is playing off coverage, so Flowers is already able to get a positive play here. But it's these sudden and quick movements that allow him to make a good play even better, even if it is just for about 4 yards like it is here. He runs the exact same route later in the game, and in my mind, this is a better play than the previous one. He catches the ball more cleanly, makes a more impressive cut to gain more yards, and is able to exhibit enough physicality to drag 2 defenders with him for a couple more extra yards at the end of the play. On this play, Flowers is running another drag route against some zone coverage and makes a play all on his own. First, he makes the first man miss his tackle. Then he's able to accelerate and turn the corner around this blocker before getting a full burst of speed down the sideline. Finally, Flowers finishes off the touchdown with a nice cut inside to get into the end zone. This is probably how he's going to be used most in the NFL. If the team that drafts him is able to scheme up some short pass plays exactly like this, where he's able to use his speed and athleticism to get past defenders and gain extra yardage to score, Flowers is going to be excellent. Here's another drag route from Flowers, this time against Duke, and I really like this play for the way he ends it off. He's got 3 Blue Devil defenders right next to him as he's inside the 10, but somehow evades all of them without being touched with a great spin move before securing the touchdown by lunging past the goal line as he's being brought down. I can't get over that. There were three defenders around him as he tried to score this touchdown, and he managed to get past all of them like they weren't even there. And not only that, Flowers has the presence of mind to see that someone is probably coming from behind to tackle him, so he should reach toward the goal line for a touchdown. A great, yet somehow common play from Zay Flowers. I saved this one for last just because it's a ridiculous play. It starts out as a simple screen pass, and as soon as Flowers catches the ball, he's got a defender right in his face. He's got 2 to his right as well, making the chances of anything positive happening on this play pretty low. But Flowers lives to make something out of nothing. He reverses field, finds open space, and manages to get a block from his quarterback before accelerating down the sideline past the remaining defenders. Flowers steps out of bounds before he can score, but the fact he got any yards at all on this play is outstanding. Louisville practically has him dead to rights behind the line of scrimmage at the beginning of the play, and Flowers not only got out of trouble, but he also made a big play out of it, which is just unbelievable. While Zay Flowers presents a slight concern with his size as well as having a slight problem with drops, there's a lot to like about him. He's got a deep route tree, you can line him up anywhere on the field, and he's got a killer speed element to his game. There's no huge gap between him and the other receivers in this draft, if there is even one at all. But if I'm picking in the top half of the draft and receiver is my biggest need, I'm taking Zay Flowers before anyone else. I think his game is going to translate extremely well to the next level, and I see him having a prosperous career in the NFL. That's the end of this video. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.